Hello, I'm Nelson Davis, executive producer of Making It. I'm told there's an old saying in Texas that goes, you're only considered a real millionaire when you've made $1 million and lost it 3 times. In other words, if you fall off the horse, you've got to dust yourself off, climb back on, and it's all about the persistence. On today's show, you'll meet 2 entrepreneurs who've taken some big tumbles, but are now riding tall again. One's on her way to becoming a real millionaire, and the other has created a priceless resource for the community. Inspiring stories and more, right now on Making It. Making It Minority Success Stories. Inspiring personal stories of struggle, triumph, and success from America's small business community.
Hello and welcome to Making It. I'm Lynette Romero.
And I'm Emmett Miller.
Lily Cole worked in journalism, advertising, and public relations before starting her own travel agency. She thought it would be easy. She'd already worked as a liaison for the Mexican government to help bring Asian tourists to that country. But then 9/11 happened. Many travel agencies reported a 50% drop in their businesses after the terrorist attacks. Lily tried to regroup and offer domestic bus tours until the public felt safe to fly again.
But now airlines were offering their own deals online, making it even harder, all the harder for travel agents to compete with them. Lily began offering specialty packages with VIP treatment, including South American glacier tours and Nile River cruises. Business began to turn around again until a mysterious and deadly disease hit.
The disease was SARS. It surfaced in China and made people afraid to travel to the entire region. As Lily tells Ziamar Galindo, this latest challenge almost proved to be the undoing of Exquisite Tours.
What types of travel does Exquisite Tours specialize in?
We specialize in tour packages, escort tours. We bring Chinese tourists to different destinations, whether it be in North America, South America, or Europe.
Okay.
And we customize tours too. Mainly ethnic Chinese, but we also have some mainstream customers too.
Tell me about some of your customized destinations.
We have Costa Rica, Galapagos Islands, Amazon River, and we go to Chile, San Diego. We take them down there to see the glaciers, and we also cross the ocean to Mediterranean, to Turkey, Egypt, and to the Eastern Europe destination like Prague, Vienna. Of course, to Asia, that's one of our biggest destinations, to Southeast Asia, China, Japan.
You have a background in journalism and public relations. Why did you decide to go into the travel business 12 years ago?
I didn't want to get into it to begin with. At that time, I was an Asian marketing consultant for Mexican Government Tourism Office. And they told me that doing promotion, marketing is fine, but somebody has to be in the operations side. And they happened to learn that my family back in Taiwan was in travel business. So they thought it might be a good idea for me to get into it. And I didn't know what I was going to get into, so I say, okay.
Your father at one time had a very successful travel agency in Taiwan. What business advice or warning did he give you before you ventured into the travel business yourself?
My father seldom talked about business at home. But when he learned that I was going to do this, he only advised me, telling me that travel business is a trouble business. Daily trouble, daily, endless. And you can never become a millionaire selling travel. But you do get some perks, that's about it. If that's the way you want it, then go into it.
Was he right?
Yeah, he's right. He's right. He's very wise.
The airline industry almost killed your business by introducing tickets online. How did you keep your business afloat?
Airline, with its high-tech and the friendly website, already take away about at least a quarter of the passengers by making them book online and buying the tickets directly with the airline. But there are limits, okay? The limits is that they can do very good with point-to-point, where the tour operation require a lot of experience and expertise and professionalism, which airlines so far haven't been able to accommodate.
Right, that personal touch.
And also the personal touch, definitely the personal touch, because what we do is that we will monitor every step of the way for our custom-made itinerary. Every step of the way, we do quality control.
Lily, you are a perfect example of a business reinventing itself after facing numerous setbacks. Tell me about what happened to you after 9/11. How did you come back?
When 9/11 first, we got hit very bad, and after a couple of months, we have to adjust ourselves, and then we invent local itineraries. Okay, we create a number of itineraries, mostly go with seasonality. Like for this particular season, we take tourists to see certain things. Like in the winter, we do ecotourism, take them up north to see elephant seal, to see monarch butterfly, and we bring them down to Baja Cineflip. Okay.
So you're resuscitating your business after 9/11, and then comes SARS. What happened?
SARS, to me, that's the most difficult years of my business in travel. It's not the epidemic itself, it's the post-SARS syndrome, which means after SARS, all this area, China and Southeast Asia, they were hit very bad, right? And the government, they came out, or the local big institution, they came out to bankroll, to subsidize, and everything. They do promotions to win back the customers. They want desperately to get the market share back. In doing so, we will push down the ladders as priority. Last year, because of the SARS, we only broke even.
Really? Mm-hmm. After facing so many hurdles that might make other business owners simply quit, you never gave up. Why?
I was warned by my dad, right? It's not a good business to get into, but what I had in mind is that I thought, if I am on the right track, I have the right strategy, and I'm heading the right direction. All I need is to work hard, and I should make it. There's no way why I cannot make it. That's why I didn't quit, and I always believe there's a silver lining. Okay, if I get really hectic, I go out to my patio and take a deep breath, and I come back again. I'm okay.
Boy, we all can learn from that.
Yeah, no kidding. Plan A, Plan B, Plan C, right? Well, one of the ways Lily Co. continues to bounce back is by spreading the word on special trips offered by Exquisite Tours. She uses colorful flyers and sophisticated graphics to entice clients to join her elephant seals, wine tasting, and monarch butterfly excursions.
No doubt Anthony Mora, PR guru and author of Spin to Win, would say she's on the right track. And secrets of success, he says visibility and self-promotion are the key to growing your business.
Ever wonder why certain businesses and companies end up in the media? Public relations. PR is the only form of marketing that offers you legitimacy, validation, and establishes you as an expert in your field. All smart businesses use PR, and so should you. So how do you do it? Well, first find out what makes you special, what makes you unique. Write a one-page press release about your company. Make a list of the media you'd like to appear on. Where would you like to see stories about you? Send your release to that media. Give it some time, then make some follow-up calls. Remember, you're not calling to harangue the media. You're calling to make sure that they receive the press release and that you're establishing yourself as an expert. Who knows? Soon you won't just be watching the news, you'll be the news.
And if your business needs a little shot in the arm, a little PR shot, if you will, you can contact Anthony, president of Anthony Mora Communications. His web address is www.anthonymora.com. And you can also discover more secrets of success on our website, www.makingittv.com.
And coming up next, a big earthquake destroys a dance studio, but not the founder's dreams. How Lula Washington dug down deep and kept everyone on their toes, right after this break.
Celebrating the entrepreneurial spirit in America, Making It is being brought to you by Sempra Energy, a Fortune 500 energy services company committed to building a diverse supplier base. And by Honda, the power of dreams.
Welcome back to Making It. Terrorist acts, deadly diseases, earthquakes, lawsuits. They're all among the setbacks business owners face in America as we hurl headfirst into the 21st century.
While disasters themselves may be out of our control, how we face them down is up to us. We can choose to play the victim, bemoan our fate, find someone else to blame, hide under the bed, or like other entrepreneurs on today's show, we can find a way to stand.
Stand and dance was how Lula Washington responded when her dance studio of 15 years crumbled in the 1994 Northridge earthquake. Her first thought was to rebuild, and she began the long uphill battle to obtain funding from FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency.
While Lulu searched for a temporary location and struggled to keep her nonprofit company afloat, a new threat loomed on the horizon. The city of Los Angeles decided that they wanted the land where her studio had been to build a shopping center. But as Lulu tells correspondent Giamara Galindo, you can fight City Hall and you can win.
We offer classes in ballet, jazz, tap, African modern hip hop for children and adults. The most difficult challenge in running the company today is finding the funding to keep it going, is ongoing. There's no money available, or little to no money available for administrative development. There's little to no money available to provide infrastructure to nonprofit arts organizations, which, if you run a business, needs the same infrastructure that a quote-unquote not a for-profit business needs.
It's a misconception that nonprofits do not have to be profitable. What is the reality of that?
The reality is that we do have to be profitable, because with the funding in the arts disappearing right and left, we have to be able to generate our own income. We cannot depend on funders or foundations anymore. We make money through a lot of different ways. One, the professional company tours, and we earn monies through that, through jobs, contracts. The professional company also has a contract with the City of Los Angeles, with the Music Center Educational Division. So we earn funds through that. A certain percent of that comes back into the organization to help run. Of course, it's never enough. Then we have our classes that we have here. Many times we're able to write grants. We're looking at ways of generating income, putting in a little store or something that will help bring extra income into the organization, because we cannot just depend on dance or the dance classes to pay the bills for the organization. So we have to run like a business.
Your husband, Erwin, is the executive director. What exactly does he do?
He does everything. Actually, he carries his company on his back. That means that he does all the fundraising, he writes all the grants, all the hard stuff. He does all the hard stuff. He's the one laboring at night up until 2 or 3 o'clock, returning emails at 4 and 5 o'clock. You know, I do the creative stuff, and he does all the hard stuff and trying to figure out how to keep the company and the organization afloat.
Your first studio was damaged dramatically by the 1994 Northridge earthquake. After that, the city was actually preparing to take away your property by eminent domain. What was the impact on your business with all of that was going on?
Well, the eminent domain did not really impact our business. What impacted our business was the earthquake. And the earthquake caused us to be closed down. We had never been closed down since our beginning. We had no place. We were like homeless. Then we found this place. What has been the hardship has been the maintaining ourselves while the city decided what they wanted to do. Along the way, we lost funding. We had people that wanted to support us in many different ways. They wanted to support our building on Adams, our programs on Adams. But because the city wanted to, we had to tear it down, then they wanted to take the land. We lost funding and grant money from that.
You ended up suing the city. What was the outcome?
Well, the outcome of it was we won. We're happy, yay. I mean, we're just a little dance company, and we're an arts organization, and we just felt in our hearts it was wrong for the city to do us this way.
The company will now move to a much larger location on Crenshaw Boulevard. Tell us about that.
The bulk of the funding came from FEMA as a result of the earthquake, the Northridge earthquake, when they finally decided, well, they're worth rebuilding. And after that, they gave money for that. That money was able to be used to purchase that space. So you know what? Even though the earthquake was depressing and made us sad, it was also uplifting in the sense that we looked to where we were, and now we see where we're going. So it's almost a blessing in disguise.
You came to dancing at a later age than others. What is it about dancing that intrigued you enough to launch a business in this field?
Dancing does something that nothing else does. It makes your spirit soar. It's a natural high. When you get into the movement, it just sets you free. You've never been freer. And to see some child on stage that's never been on stage, that worked really hard to get there, maybe got kicked out a couple of times because they weren't paying attention or something, and then they get that moment and they get on the stage and they're like, joy. It's something that it's really hard to explain. But it's free. It frees you. Set your soul free.
What do you see for the future of Lula Washington Dance Theater?
I see a lot of good things coming for the dance company. I know we've been struggling for a long time, and sometimes it looks like they used to sing the song about the storm is over, a brighter day. It's like it's real dark, and now we're starting to see like little rays of light coming through. And so I think there's going to be a big burst of light, and I think that it's going to just take a little bit more time, but it's going to happen. I see us having all the things that we wanted to have.
Such a spiritual event with her as well, I'm telling you. And it's happening right now, let me tell you. After 10 years of battling the city of Los Angeles and the federal government, Lula Washington has now triumphed. She and her company are finally leaving their tiny temporary quarters, and they're moving into a 12,000 square foot arts complex on Crenshaw Boulevard.
And still ahead, our studio guest is Riva Lasansky, Vice President and Editorial Director of Entrepreneur Magazine. She'll tell us how, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. You don't want to miss this. Stay with us.
And welcome back. Here's how you can contact the entrepreneurs on today's edition of Making It. You can reach Lily Ko of Exquisite Tours at et@etoursandtravel.com. And you can contact Lulu Washington at the Lulu Washington Dance Theater at www.lulawashington.com. And now let's join Lynette in the studio with Riva Lasansky. She's the Vice President and Editorial Director of Entrepreneur Magazine.
Thanks, Emmett. Riva Lasansky has served on the Small Business Administration's National Advisory Council for 6 years. Her latest book is entitled Start Your Own Business. Riva, welcome to Making It. We're glad you're here.
It's good to be here.
Thank you. First of all, tell us about Entrepreneur Magazine.
Well, Entrepreneur is a magazine for people who are already in business, have been in business about 4, 5, 6 years. They know they're going to make it, but it's growth now. I always think it's harder to grow a business than start one. So we help you deal with all the growth strategies, the technology, the marketing, the management, and the money issues that every entrepreneur faces as they're like, okay, what do I do next to hit that next level?
Lots of information in the magazine.
Lots of information.
Let's talk about your book, Start Your Own Business. What are you looking for your readers to come away with?
The most important thing, it's a really big book, and we try to make it really friendly. We have little cartoon illustrations in there and lots of boxes, is I think a lot of people think to start a business is scary, it's mysterious, it's too hard, and what I want everybody to come out with, it's okay. Not that it's easy, but it's easier than I think, and if you take the whole thing and boil it down into the little steps, you can tackle it step by step by step rather than looking at the whole universe of I want to start a business, which is overwhelming.
Totally overwhelming, and it might scare people away.
Absolutely. So the whole point of the book is anybody can do this. You don't have to be born to be an entrepreneur. You don't need an MBA. All you need is an idea and a plan, and then just take it step by step and make it happen.
It sounds so simple. You know, I bet with your background, people want to pick your brain, and they want to ask for all kinds of advice. What are the most frequently asked questions?
I think the most frequently asked question comes in two forms. It's either, okay, I want to start a business, what do I do? Or do I have to reinvent the wheel? Do I have to start at ground zero? And I always tell these people, no, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, and you don't really have to sit there and study and do market research to figure out what you want. All you have to do is pay attention. Listen at work, listen at home, listen to your friends, particularly when people complain. There are germs of ideas. When people are frustrated, they're basically telling you that there's something lacking in their life. If you can provide what's lacking, if you can fill in that hole, that niche, you can start your business. About 10 years ago, there were two guys down in Irvine who were always late getting back from work, always getting docked, and they're sitting at a bar one Friday complaining, we're always getting docked, it's too far to go, and one of their brothers was there just listening to the complaining and finally said, hey, you guys shut up. What if we have a business that brings lunch to people's offices? So they started this business. They're making over $10 million. That wasn't like, wow, they went and invented something. It's just taking what is bothering you and bothering other people and making it happen.
Being really, really aware.
That's totally, if you pay attention and you listen, you'll know what people need.
Now, we've seen two entrepreneurs who had some major problems, financial problems. Let's talk about bankruptcy. When is that a good idea?
I I hate to say it's a good idea, but it's a viable option for a lot of people. It should be your last resort option, but if you are sitting there and for a lot of outside circumstances, a bad economy, some bad management, maybe you had some bad employees, maybe your vendors raised their prices and you weren't prepared for it. If things have happened to your business that have kind of been outside your control, and you still have a viable business idea, you still think, I can make this work, it's a really good resort. Now, don't go Chapter 7, because that means you're out of business.
Right.
But Chapter 11 gives you the time, you reorganize, it gives you the time to sort of get your stuff together. Before you do that, though, I mean, obviously you need a lawyer, but you should also contact your vendors and suppliers so they're not surprised by this, so they don't feel like you're ripping them off, because your end result is to still do business with them after the bankruptcy filing. You don't want to blow everybody away, so you want to remain friends and on good terms with everybody involved.
So you can dig yourself out of that
You
hole.
can. You know, there's a lot of Entrepreneur itself, the magazine under different ownership, filed bankruptcy in 1981, came out in 83,
Really?
and you know, here we are in 2004. Making a whole lot more money than we made back then. But you just, again, it goes back to step by step. See what you have to do and take it a step at a time.
But there are some other options that are available. What would you say they should maybe look at before resorting to that last resort of bankruptcy?
The first thing you should do is obviously, if you're thinking of going bankrupt, you don't have enough cash flow. So you have to look at, is there a way that I can increase my cash flow? The first thing you do is look around your company. Can you cut costs? Are there ways that you are, you know, are you spending too much money? Are you maybe being nice and buying breakfast for your employees? Don't just take it out. Explain to people what's going on. You may have to cut bonuses for a year or two. You may have to freeze raises. That's option number one. Option number two is something called factoring. Not a lot of people are aware of factors. They're outside companies that actually buy your receivables, take a percentage off the top, but give you the money ahead of time. You're not, you know, let's say you're getting something 45, 60 days, they'll give it to you right now. So it gives you the cash to pay the bills that you need to pay.
We're out of time, but your book is doing very well, right?
Yes, it is. It just made the Business Week bestseller list.
Fantastic. Congratulations.
Thanks
for being here. And we'll tell you how you can get in touch with Riva Lisansky and Entrepreneur Magazine right after this break. Don't go away. Thank you.
Where small business is the big idea, Making It is being brought to you by the Boeing Company, by Southern California Edison, for over 100 years, life powered by Edison, and by the Hilton family of hotels. Whether your travel plans are for business or pleasure, the Hilton family offers you a choice of fine accommodations in prime locations around the world.
And you can email Riva Lisansky at Entrepreneur Magazine. The address is riva@entrepreneur.com.
And you can email us at info@makingittv.com. And you can also visit our website, www.makingittv.com. There you can find a list of small business resources, and you can learn how to submit your own stories to our show. And it's sort of funny because the whole show is about bouncing back. And even though you know it inside that that's what you should do when you reach hard times, when you're actually in them, it's much harder to do than when you think about it.
It's hard to get back up. But, you know, that's what we have to do in life. So it works in business, it works in life.
It seems that way, doesn't it?
Well, that's our show for this week. I'm Lynette Romero.
And I'm Emmett Miller, in for Larry McCormick. Thanks for joining us. See you next time, right here on Making It.
We're able to offer basically almost free classes, but in return we get funding that comes back to the organization that helps us to keep our doors open to help us.
I'm Nelson Davis, executive producer of Making It. There are certain images that are indelibly etched into the collective consciousness of America. Disturbing images that we would rather forget. The assassination of President John F. Kennedy, explosion of the Space Shuttle Challenger, and agonizing pictures of the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center that we now refer to as 9/11. The aftermath of that tragedy trickled all the way down into the small business community, affecting many in adverse ways. But there were some entrepreneurs whose services became more valuable under the threat of increased terrorism. And we'll take a look at two of those businesses today on Making It. Making It Minority Success Stories. Inspiring personal stories of struggle, triumph, and success from America's small business community.
Hello and welcome to Making It. I'm Lynette Romero.
And I'm Emmett Miller.
Well, things have changed for entrepreneur Nien-Ling since Making It first visited her 15 years ago. The software company she founded was just beginning. Her vision was to develop and sell document imaging software internationally to set industry standards worldwide for the electronic storage of paper records.
The tragedy of 9/11 combined with corporate scandals caused problems throughout the whole American economy. But Nien-Ling's company, Laserfiche, actually prospered. In the wake of terrorist threats of computer espionage, the U.S. government introduced new tougher standards for the storage of crucial files.
Laserfiche was certified by the government to be in compliance with its strict security needs. Today, the company holds contracts with the 5 branches of the U.S. military, the Secret Service, the FBI, and the State Department. Here's how it all began.
Where would you like to see CompuLink be in, say, 5 years?
I would look at ourselves a multi-center national company. I would like to first concentrate in Southern California and New York area, and hopefully internationally.
It was 1989, and Nien-Ling software company CompuLink was in its infancy when Making It first visited. Today, not only has the company's name changed, so has its location. And as Nien-Ling predicted, they've gone global.
There's a lot of changing since last time you were here. What we have done is over the past years, and we have grown about steadily 30% every year. And our people, at that time we probably have about around 10 people. Now we have over 155 people here. On top of that, our reseller channel grew to about almost 1,000 resellers, companies. They are independent business people. So we have over 20,000 customers worldwide. So this is quite of a growth.
Much of the recent growth is a result of corporate scandals and new government mandates forcing companies to comply with federal archiving standards.
The last few years with the challenging on the SECs in the financial marketplace, a lot of organizations need to make sure their records have the records integrity. There's a lot of compliance issues here. And we being, as a company, as a records management company, we actually help the corporations when they want to make sure they meet the compliances, and our product help them actually in a lot of ways. So actually it helps our business.
And where some companies were hit hard by 9/11, the heightened security that resulted actually bolstered business for Laserfiche.
Yeah, 9/11 is a very sad for United States, and terrorist attackings and everything else. So people are much more security conscious, and they also want to make sure records are preserved. And our product, being a DoD 5015.2, certified, it helps the companies or organizations to make sure if they want to having a security and preserve the records, and our product actually help them. Our goal is always customer-centric, and making money was not a major issue in our issue. We want to provide a product which our customer want.
Aside from taking care of customers, Nien-Ling says it's imperative to nurture employees.
People are the most important aspect of any organization, especially our organization. So what we want to make sure is not, in this busy business world, we are taking care of ourselves, our people, and so we actually have a lunch program which enable people to spend a lunch hour to exchange ideas. Different people touch bases with the different aspect of the work. I believe if you're taking care of the people who looks after the business, actually they will look after you.
Two employees who look after the business are also family. Nien-Ling's husband, Chris, is Senior Vice President of Sales and Marketing. Her son, Tom, is Director of Marketing. In fact, Tom is the reason Nien-Ling launched the company in the first place.
My son got very sick, and I had to quit my job and quit my PhD program and actually stay at home. And that's actually how I started the business. And now he works for us as the director of marketing, and is really lend a lot of a helping hand to the business.
Together, they tackle the day-to-day challenges of operating a multi-million-dollar company in a rapidly changing market.
I think the challenge to own a high-tech or software company in the 21st century is how do you create a harmonious environment, a great product in a very fast-changing world. Basically, our world changing so fast. It's like your floor is moving continuously.
And in 18 years of business, Nien-Ling admits she's made some mistakes along the way.
One of the mistakes I made is in the early days, I launched Laserfish. You try to listen too many people tell you what to do, and you want to get higher market share. And you finally realize you cannot be everything to everybody. We, a company, try to be very efficient to help people to run smarter. And I think that's really what boils down to, if you really help your people, help your customers.
And speaking of customers, she now has thousands of customers. Laserfish is currently installed in 39 countries on nearly every continent. They include Saudi Arabia's Social Security system and Mexico's Department of Immigration.
And as you saw in the story, Nien-Ling values her employees so much, she serves them a daily free lunch. That could be one of the factors in her company's explosive growth, as a matter of fact. Dr. Noel Nelson, author of The Power of Appreciation, says acts exactly like that are the key in today's secrets of success.
Appreciation is more than gratitude. Appreciation is an actual force. It's an energy that you can harness to attract to you more customers, better sales, or whatever it is that spells success in your business. Now, in our book, The Power of Appreciation, we describe the 5 steps to getting there. But the most important step of all is to appreciate what you've got to get what you want. Find reasons to value and be grateful for your current customers, because that sets up an energetic dynamic which attracts new customers. It's scientific. Like attracts like. Even if you have a sort of clunky customer and you don't know how to appreciate them, try to find the value in that customer, because surely there is something to be grateful for. And the more that you appreciate whatever is going on in your business right here and right now, the more you will attract good things to appreciate tomorrow. Appreciation really is a win-win.
Words worth following from Dr. Noel Nelson. And you can contact her at www.dr.noelnelson.com. And you can find more secrets of success as well as order a videotape copy of today's show. It's at our website, www.makingittv.com.
And coming up next, governments talking Turkey in Arabic and Farsi. 9/11 brought them all to the table, but who can speak their languages? Arlene Thomas's company can, and you'll meet her when we return.
Honoring the men and women of America's small business communities, Making It is being brought to you by the Boeing Company and by Southern California Edison. For over 100 years, life powered by Edison.
Easy to see why. Welcome back to Making It. We as a nation, as a planet, were deeply saddened by the disaster of 9/11. We grieved on many levels. But you know the old saying, you wake up one day and you realize life goes on. It's time to get back to business as usual.
But what, in a world that has been forever changed from the world we used to know, is business as usual? Today we're talking to entrepreneurs who provide services desperately needed in the wake of 9/11.
In an era of increasing global tensions and hostilities, there's little room for error due to cultural misunderstandings or language barriers. And now the government urgently needed translators of regional dialects in Afghanistan, Iraq, other Arabic nations as well.
The call went out, and Arlene Thomas answered. She's the owner of TCS Translations. It's a company whose clients include the federal government and the private sector. On a daily basis, her company can translate emails into Japanese, produce corporate manuals in Spanish, or create confidential government documents in Farsi.
And as she tells correspondent Errol Smith, there's a lot more to communication than just language.
Arlene, give us a sense of why translating is not just a matter of substituting a word in one language for a word in another language.
Well, human speech is very complicated. We all know that communication, 80% is nonverbal. It's not the actual words coming out of your mouth. It's the actual, the hems and the ha's and the intonation, the insinuation with your voice. So if you are merely translating words, you're not getting the syntax and the meaning behind it in order to really know what the person was speaking about. Because, you know, just like in English we use words like dude, and, you know, Spanish you say dude by saying ox, and if you're talking about oxen, all of a sudden when you're really talking about people, obviously there's going to be a problem.
You're not just translating language, you have to translate cultures and dialects. How do you find people who can do that and do it accurately?
We find the people by basically maintaining good relationships with people within the translation community nationally, as well as within different cultural communities. So by establishing relationships with different cultural organizations, professionals in various fields, because as well as translation, we also have a lot of expertise in different fields that is required at some times. So sometimes we need a translator who might know some engineering. We pre-screen everyone very carefully. We believe a lot in doing the team effort translation because it's not only important to have a native in the other foreign language who is near native in English, it's also important to have the opposite, where you have a native English speaker with near native understanding and ability in the other foreign language. And that's where you basically come up with the best final product. We also have basically kind of a senior revisionist who does quality control procedures that we've set up over time.
Now, after 9/11, the federal government was on the lookout for Arabic translators. And how did that impact your business?
We got more work in the continental United States as well as outside of the United States, so we have increased need for overseas translation by both U.S. citizens and U.S. residents. For all of our languages, including Arabic and Pashto, which is also another language that we are looking for a lot due to the Afghanistan situation.
Security is critical. How do you ensure it?
Well, the government has its own security requirements, and basically our facility here was built to ensure security. So we're dealing with classified documentation. No matter where in the country we're working, we are either at a secured government facility or we bring the work here where it's done in a secured environment, where we have assured that through different, technological as well as human-proof systems that security is being maintained.
Your work is so sensitive and requires so much expertise. How did you get your foot in the door with big government agencies to begin with?
I started doing translations myself as a Spanish-English translator, and I realized once I was in the industry what there was a need for and what there was a lack of.
And where did you get the seed money to start the company?
The seed money to start the company is basically personal credit cards and creative financing, so to speak. And also, basically, it was a constant, and still is, revolution of reinvesting back into the company in order to achieve growth. So for a few years, not compensating myself entirely just to make sure that the company would have enough funds and resources in order to keep on going.
Arlene, every company suffers setbacks. I'm sure you've had yours. When you run into them, How do you deal with it?
Basically, you take a deep breath, and you never count on just one client or one job or one operation. You are always looking to develop other capabilities.
Personal question. You have a global business and you have 3 kids. How do you manage?
Well, I always said I couldn't do it without them. So they're my inspiration. It's a matter of being very fluid in both in business and in your personal life. And at first, being a mom, I was worried that my clients would say, "Oh, well, she's got other priorities." And I heard back from a couple of clients, when my children were still babies, and saying, "Well, we knew that you would get it done, even if it was at 2 a.m., because you always send us those faxes at 2 and 3 in the morning and on weekends." And I thought, well, that's a new perspective.
Complicated issue for them to get so correct.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's amazing. TCS has approximately 500 translators, both staff and contract. They can interpret 200 different languages and dialects, which is absolutely incredible. Arlene expects to nearly double the company's revenues next year, from $3 to $5 million.
Wow. The CEOs you've met on today's show happen to be women, and so is our studio guest, Christine Closer. She's the founder of the Network for Empowering Women, and she has some tips that can help all entrepreneurs right after this break.
Okay, so here's how you can get in touch with the entrepreneurs on today's show. You can contact Nien-Ling at Laserfish, the number there, 800-985-8533. And you can reach Arlene Thomas at TCS Translations by logging onto her website, www.tcstranslations.com. And now, let's join Lynette in the studio with our guest, Christine Closer.
Thanks, Emmett. Christine is the founder of the Network for Empowering Women. The organization helps educate and inspire entrepreneurs to start or expand their businesses. Welcome to Making It. We're glad you're here with us.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you. First of all, let's talk right about networking for empowering women. What does that mean? Why is that so important?
It is so important because women are natural networkers, and so much of their growth in their business comes from knowing other people, and partly knowing other people and also being known. A lot of people say it's about who you know, and I have a different philosophy. I think it's a little bit more in the networking world about who knows you. So we create experiences for women to network and meet each other and get educated and inspired to really succeed in all areas of life.
So it really is about conversation and talking, getting to know people, having them know you. You think you're just making conversation, but it's really something very important.
Absolutely. And the most important thing, I think, in networking is finding out about the other person, developing that relationship and interest, really listening to them.
Let's talk about the 2 CEOs that we've seen in the program so far. They're both women. They have kids. They're juggling family, being moms, also being entrepreneurs. How do you balance all of that?
You take a lot of deep breaths. But one of the techniques that I use that I really recommend highly is to make sure that every day, both in the morning and in the evening, that you take some time just for yourself. Perhaps journaling, writing in a gratitude list, or in silent meditation or prayer, whatever resonates with that person, but some quiet time, both as the day starts and as the day wraps up.
I can't imagine. I mean, I'm going to have a baby soon, and I can't imagine trying to do all of that. And that would be the first thing that you forget, the time for yourself. And you really have to strengthen yourself. That's where your power is, right?
And sometimes it only takes 5 minutes. I mean, it can be that quick.
That's simple, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, female friendships. You kind of talked about that a little bit in that we're just talking with each other and developing our strengths. Let's talk about how important those female friendships are.
To me, they're everything, because when you're a businesswoman, you have a tendency to eat, drink, sleep, walk, talk, like everything is business. And it's so important to have other women that you can go to, just go out and have coffee, have tea, take a walk, and talk more about you rather than business all the time. Really have your soul be nurtured and really be fulfilled by having that juice that kind of happens when women come together purely for the sake of enjoyment.
And so then does that then lead to talking about business and talking about endeavors and things like that?
Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I think it's just really important to have a place that you can go talk to someone and be loved, no matter whether you succeeded or failed or got to your to-do list or didn't, or got that deal or didn't get the deal. Just someone who's always there, who really loves you. And sometimes it can't always be your romantic partner. Sometimes
Right.
sometimes you need some other sources.
Right. Now, some people might think that sounds really great. It's kind of warm and fuzzy, but how does that really get us into business and really empowering ourselves as business people and entrepreneurs?
It empowers us as women, and as women is where we succeed the most. When we're really feeling great about ourselves and confident and powerful in our own lives, it kind of trickles out and reaches into our business life.
So this is kind of along the same lines. It really is about mindset and where you are and where your strength is, right?
Yeah,
Can
we
you
talked
talk
a little
about
bit
that?
earlier about, we all know people who are in the same business, and one succeeds and one fails. And like, what's the difference? They both have the same product or the same service. And it's in the mindset. Oftentimes you'll see people in the same situation, and one will be positive and optimistic. They just know that things are going to happen. They feel good. They say nice things to themselves, and they believe in their dream. Other people in the same situation, their conversation will be about, it's so challenging right now, I'm really having a struggling time, the economy, the this, the competition, the that. And what you think about, you bring about. So mindset truly can be the most powerful ingredient in bringing about success.
So your organization, Networking for Empowering Women, what exactly do you offer then?
Well,
it's very specific.
It's a professional membership association that supports women entrepreneurs in business, personal, financial, and also spiritual fulfillment. It's got to be well-rounded. We offer a membership program that has well over $4,000 in member benefits. Yeah, it changes people's lives, literally. We also have seminars that we do, one-day events where we bring in different experts, sales and marketing, and how to get published and how to get publicity for your business. And we offer teleclasses. We have a free newsletter that goes out to thousands of women worldwide. And we have local networking meetings here in the Southern California area. So
you're kind of busy.
Yeah, kind of busy.
You're really
I take
busy.
my 5 minutes in the morning, 10 usually,
Good. Take time
if
for
not
yourself.
more.
That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Great information. We really
You're welcome.
appreciate it. And we'll tell you how to get in touch with Christine Closer and the Network for Empowering Women right after this break. Stick around.
Where small business is the big idea. Making It is being brought to you by Sempra Energy, a Fortune 500 energy services company committed to building a diverse supplier base. By Honda, the power of dreams. And by the Hilton family of hotels. Whether your travel plans are for business or pleasure, the Hilton family offers you a choice of fine accommodations in prime locations around the world.
Welcome back. You can reach Christine Closer at her email address, ck@newentrepreneurs.com.
And if you'd like to send us an email, send it to info@makingittv.com. And you can also purchase a copy of today's show on our website at www.makingittv.com. And there you can also tap into a number of business resources. Well, that's our show for this week. I'm Lynette Romero.
And I'm Emmett Miller, in for Larry McCormick. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.
I have the ability to be there when my kids absolutely need me. And that is what gives you the gratification of being able to be, a good parent at the same time. That means that you'll be up at 2 in the morning and working weekends in order to be able to have a good business.